Let's talk about eye contact. I will remember that there is art to medicine as well as science, and that warmth, sympathy, and understanding may outweigh the surgeon's knife or the chemist's drug. That excerpt from The Modern Physician's Oath was written in 1964 by Louis Lasagna. As a quick aside, I know that this man contributed a lot to modern medicine, but anytime I hear his name, I think of this guy. Any provider worth their weight in N95 masks understands the importance of building rapport with their patients. Well, during this time of increased digital visits, we want to talk about some tips that you can use to build rapport with your patients over video. So as a patient, I'm used to waiting in the waiting room on that little table in my underpants for the physician to come and see me. But waiting in a digital waiting space can actually be very, very different. I mean, imagine everything else that you do online is done pretty much immediately. So minutes can seem a lot longer when waiting online. Plus, usually when we're waiting, we're fooling around on our phones. If your visit's taking place on your phone, what do you have to fool around on? So if your clinic is running behind, which it probably is, you're a very busy person, it's important that your staff, your team connect with that patient as frequently as possible between their appointment time and the time that you're actually available to see them. Having your nursing teams check in with them, let them know that you're on your way, making sure they don't have any final questions before you see them are great ways to make sure that your patient doesn't check out before you check in with them. That was cheesy. So now there's a whole other episode about what to wear while on camera. It's important to understand that not only do the clothes that you wear make a huge difference when building rapport with your patients, like for example, it's good to wear pants, but also the colors and patterns make a big difference. So make sure you check out that video as well.
Things are different now.
Your patients are probably just as confused and scared about this whole COVID thing as the rest of us are. So when beginning your video visit, it's important to introduce the elephant in the room, that the patient isn't in the room. Acknowledge that this visit is going to be different than others that they've experienced. Give them a rundown of what they can expect during the video visit experience. Ask them about how they're feeling about COVID, how their life is, how their families are. Ask them if they have any questions about how the video visit will take place, and then get started with your actual clinical encounter. This will help set them at ease and make them feel more comfortable and open, and also help them process the information that you're sharing with them a little bit more effectively during the visit itself. Now, as we talked about at the beginning of this video, we need to discuss the significance of eye contact. Now, you all know the importance of maintaining eye contact in the physical clinical space, but during a video visit, it's actually just as important, if not more important, that you maintain some sort of digital eye contact. So, when talking with the patient, I recommend that you look directly into the lens. If you're looking down at the patient's chart, or you're looking even at the image of the patient on the screen, it can make you appear detached. It can make it seem like they're not the most important person involved in this conversation. So, at all times possible, look into the lens and have a conversation with your patient face to face, digitally. Now, when the patient's talking with you, it's important to both see them and also make it look like you're looking at them. So, what I recommend is, if you're working off of a computer, you grab that patient image on the screen, you drag it up as close as physically possible to the actual physical camera, so that when you're looking at them, you may not be looking directly at the lens, but your eye line will be pretty close, and it may seem like you're both looking at them, and you're actually able to see their body language and their affect. You're being able to talk to them much like you would while they were there in front of you. Now, this makes things a little bit more complicated, but I just received a Domino's pizza in gloves and a mask, so everything's more complicated right now. If you've ever taken one of my classes, you've probably heard me ask, what questions do you have? Now, phrasing it this way allows the group, or in your case, the patient, to understand that it's not only okay to ask questions now, it's actually expected that they should be asking you questions. Then ask about their understanding about the different instructions that you've given them during their clinical encounter. Let them know how they can contact you further with updated questions in the future. If you're working in a system that has a patient health portal like MyChart, it's important to remind them that they can receive instructions from your visit as well as access to you and your clinic through that patient health portal. And finally, it's really important that you acknowledge the clinical encounter is ending, ask them if it's okay that you end the visit at this time, and then close the visit. That is way better than just some quick, curt, bye Felicia, and suddenly they're left in the digital waiting room, not really sure what to do next. Our clinical care community has spent years building relationships with their patients. During this very complex time, it's important that we continue to nurture those relationships using the tools that we've been given to provide clinical care. As always, if you have questions about what we've discussed or mean internet comments, put them in the comments section down below. Subscribe, as we're going to have more of these types of conversations about how to provide excellent clinical care using the Digital Health Toolkit. And most importantly, stay safe. Hopefully we'll see you again soon.